Welcome back. Touching Tips, episode 17. Your boy Wilkie, your man's Brennan.
What up?
For the weekly check-in. What's on the agenda today? Smashing rocks glasses in your hand?
I am, yeah. Fucking busted one open. Got myself real good, too. It was the end of the night, but yeah. It was like the first cut I've had in a while where I was like, oh, fuck. I got myself real bad on this one.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the first thing on the agenda should and will always be, from here on out, me meeting Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yes.
I don't give a fuck that it happened on the previous Tuesday, but, you know, after taping the last episode, I was able to go into my fucking restaurant, and I've been pumping up fucking Hulk Hogan was coming to the bar across the street from me. It's a buddy of mine's. He's the manager over there, and he used to be like a amateur pro wrestler, I guess is what you would call him.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that aspect of his life.
Yeah. Well, he gets like these fucking like WWE events over there all the time, and he arranged Hulk to be over there. And leading up to it, I was like, dude, you got to get me the fuck in there. Like, you got to, like, because I'm working, so I'm like, get me in the side door. I just want to, like, see Hulk Hogan, see if I can, like, get a selfie real quick. He's like, I can't do it, dude. Which at the time, I was kind of like, I understand, but I don't understand. But then I saw the fucking people that were waiting outside, dude. Creatures, every one of them. If they tried to sneak me in the side door, they would have ripped me apart.
Yeah.
Like, these people were fucking whack jobs.
Like people that go to wrestling events, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, people who go to wrestling events, fine. I mean, like, there are plenty of normal people who go to wrestling events, but imagine the people who show up like 4 hours early to meet Hulk Hogan. Those are the people that are in fucking
That's
line.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
People who go to wrestling events, bro. Like,
I have a couple buddies who are like wrestling fans, but anyway, I digress.
they're like the wrestling fans that are like the guy from Seinfeld who's like, yeah, I'm not painting my face.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like
yeah.
they're super into it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the first guy in line was literally like, you know, dressed in like the Hulk Hogan yellow tank top with like the tearaway back, like had the mustache on, the belt he was carrying, and he was conservatively like a 46-year-old man. It's like, dude,
That's crazy.
you could like count up how many times everyone in that line got laid, and you like couldn't cover both your hands. Like, it was like you guys have all collectively fucked like 11 times in your entire life, and because most of them are with each other, like it's they cancel each other out, you know. Anyway, though, but yeah, so Hulk's over there, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna get to see him. That's fucking bullshit. I come in, and they're like, we can't tell anyone, but Hulk's coming in tonight to eat afterwards. I was like,
Oh,
fuck
nice.
yeah. So yeah, it was fucking awesome though. And that was the thing too, is leading up to it. How many fucking like celebrities have you seen in that spot? Like a few, right? You know, like off the top of my head, I've seen like Uma Thurman. We had like Joe Mixon, the Bengals running back. We had Stephon Diggs.
A lot. I remember more like the athletes than anything.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm just saying we get those people, and all the time we get that fucking bullshit though, where it's like, you know, I'm going to be brought in the side door. I want to make sure that my dining room isn't visible by anyone else. I don't want people to notice me. It's like, you know, bro, you're the fucking defensive back of the Bengals. Like, nobody has any fucking idea who you are.
I was gonna. So did they put him in the chef's room?
So they put him in the diva room and then totally
nice.
curtained it all off.
Yeah.
But it was the first time where I was like, he absolutely needed that. There were people waiting outside still. Like, people followed him like across the street and waited for him to like get done eating. Like, he was mobbed.
Yeah.
That dude's entire life must be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and also, like I said, they're the kind of people that you don't want to be fucking. You know, it's one thing to be the a Bengals defensive back and have a super sports fan be like, oh, word, can I get your autograph? Like, these people were like, you know, put your semen inside of me. Yeah. It's like, dude, you got to fucking relax with that shit, you know?
Just give me a load, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to pour
Come
in
on,
my
Hulkster,
wife.
just one. Put it in my mouth. Like, what, dude?
Oh, man.
Yeah, but he was fucking awesome. It was sad to see, though, because he's like, he's old now, man.
Yeah.
Like, and you could tell, like, the years took a toll. Like, he used to be fucking huge. You see that picture of me, I'm like taller than him in the picture. Like, he used to be like 6'6", 6'7", but now he's like all like bent over and hunched and shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's sad.
Speaking of people that like asking for side door access, right?
Yeah.
I have a story from when I worked there back in the day. This is before this is probably when I'm the only guy there. Like, you haven't come yet, and High Cabbage hasn't recome yet, right?
Yeah.
So it's after Hernandez kills himself.
Okay.
His fiance,
Yeah,
or whatever
she
you
used to
want to
come
call
in.
her.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing her like at the host stand, right? And I remember like she has like very like her eyes are
Yeah,
crazy.
just
so like
crazy
you
blue
remember,
eyes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
and she's like Puerto Rican skin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like she has like a crazy like look to her. And I just remember
Very
like
distinctive.
Night, thank you for the assistance.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing her and just being like, I didn't peg me right away, but I kind of remember being like, ugh, gross. Nothing ever pegged me. But horrible. So anyway, I remember seeing her and being like, oh, you know, I know her from somewhere, just something, you know. And then later on in the night, she's in the back room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, who the fuck is this?
Just to be clear, though, this is after he kills himself?
Yeah, the night,
Okay.
the very night after he killed
Holy
himself.
shit, the next day?
Not even the next day. Like I feel like the news broke in the morning.
she was
Like, they
there
found
that
him
night.
dead, and she was there that night with, like, with her
Wow.
homegirl.
Yeah.
And that's what she was doing at the host stand earlier in the night, was negotiating side access to the chef's room. You know what I mean? And I never would have even known about it because I was busy at the bar. But that room you have to go through to get downstairs if you need anything.
Yeah.
So now I'm put in the position where you have to go outside,
Yeah,
and
go
do the
around.
thing.
Yeah.
So that's what triggered me being like, oh, I remember seeing this lady at the host stand right now earlier,
Yeah.
but nobody ever said anything to me about why this is. You know, I wasn't kept in the little loop about it. So that led me to ask, and I was like, no way,
Yeah.
no way. But
She's yeah, I don't know. Well, I can't really. Yeah, no, I can't talk about any of that. I have somebody who was actually like in the whole Hernandez case or whatever. So I don't want to talk about that shit though. That's not
yeah,
it's not on me to bring up any of it.
I actually used to wait on the guy who was like the lead investigator
Yeah,
on this shit at TGI Fridays.
was his name like Mike something?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yup.
My well, I mean, I could say an ancillary. My brother-in-law was like the main detective in North Attleboro, who like was like the lieutenant at the time when that case happened.
Yeah.
So he's on like Netflix documentaries and shit, and like it's kind of cool. But he like they don't pay you for that shit. So like now every time like there's like a new one or whatever, they're always like, "Oh, do you want to come on?" And he's like, "Give me $10,000 and don't call me." You know, it's like
I would be doing that too.
yeah. But yeah,
Pay
It's-
me for my intellectualness or
Yeah.
get the hell out of here.
yeah. But it's crazy though, like to see him like on a few of them, or like even when the whole trial shit was going on, like he was on that like on the TV and shit. Like, oh shit, that's my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
He's a good dude though. But yeah, he has some stories that I can't say, but there's some wild shit when it comes to that case.
I just remember being like, when I found out that this guy was that, I was like, my first thought, this is how much of a fanatic I was, right?
Yeah.
Is this guy even a fucking Patriots fan? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, just fucking blame this shit on somebody else and let's get back to winning trophies
Yeah.
over here. I don't understand why we're getting Aaron Hernandez in trouble about this shit.
Yeah, I always break my brother-in-law's balls. I always call him Mark Furman,
Nice.
like fucking framing his ass. No, he's a good dude. Yeah, that was fucking crazy though. She like used to come in like she came in a few times. I don't know if she must not live in the area anymore because I haven't seen her in a
Yeah.
while.
I do. I remember a few times too, like more of like the tea spilling that not about Hernandez or anything like that, but just generally about like Patriots like backstories and shit like
yeah.
that. There, like a bunch of players, like wives would come in,
Yeah,
like 5 or 6 of them. You know what I mean? And they're all like, I want to say one of them was McCourty's wife.
Yeah.
So it was like all like the defensive backs. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
yeah.
their wives were like getting together and hanging out. And they would like shut the rest. You know what I mean? They would stay later than we would really want them to. And, you know, they had a few drinks. They'd be talking shit. And like if you
you'd
were
overhear some
if
shit.
you were smart enough, yeah, like you
Yeah.
could position yourself close enough to pick up on some of that shit. But
Who's like the coolest like athlete you've ever waited on?
I don't know, man. I feel like this is where me frying my brain every day is gonna come back to bite me because I know I've waited on some cool
Well,
people.
who's all right?
but-
Who's like the one athlete where you're like, holy shit, that's so and so.
Well, I mean, I got so one time at the bar, Jamie Collins came in.
Yeah,
And he was fucking cool. Like most of the time, like these higher end athletes, they don't drink. Like they
Yeah.
take care of their body.
right.
But Jamie Collins was drinking. If I remember correctly, he was drinking Tanqueray and pineapple juice.
Ugh.
And I was like, holy shit, this dude's drinking gin and juice. I
Yeah.
can't even believe this shit.
Yeah.
And like he was cool. Like I didn't like fanboy too much on him. Like I just like treated him like a normal dude. And then like a couple weeks later, it's like he must have said, yo, they're cool here. And he came in with it was Jamie Collins, Stephon Gilmore, Jonathan Jones,
Yeah.
Brandon Bolden, and Brandon Bolden's lady.
Yeah.
It was just like a 5-top. And they sat like maybe 2 seats off of service bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just got steaks, and they were all cool, chopping it up and stuff. Like they were saying something about they had some story about Gostowski. Like I don't know what Gostowski was doing, but that's kind of like what like got me into the conversation. Like cool enough because I used to have a dog groomer, a lady. She was a regular. Then she worked there for a little bit, and then but she also the whole time was like had a dog grooming business. Was becoming like a veterinarian, right?
Yeah.
So she took care of a lot of the Patriots players' dogs. And they said something about Gostowski, and I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like, I've sat in his seats before. And they're like, no, you haven't. And I go, no, like, even the police were like, you're not in the right seats.
Yeah.
Because she got his seats for me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like, it was me and I don't know how many people went to. I think it was like four people that went, but we were all front row on the 50-yard line.
Damn.
Like, yeah. Very front row, dude.
Nice.
Like literally, like me and a bunch of other scumbags.
Like make a wish tickets at that
show
point.
up.
Like
yeah, like and like literally, like they got all the security guys and everything standing there. Like you're in the wrong seats. And I was like, I promise you, we're not. Like
I know I don't look it, but for whatever reason, I'm here.
Me, it was definitely I think it was myself, my brother, my boy Mike, who moved to Mass now, and my buddy Tyler. But me and my boy Mike were wild boys back in the day. Like we'd get hammered, yell at the players the whole game and shit like that. And even us were like, we stood there
buttoned
like,
up.
We stood there like sailors the whole time. You know what I mean?
Well, because that's another thing too is when you get gifted tickets like that, you don't want to be a fucking dickhead. You know?
You're hoping for more. You
exactly.
know? And she also. That pipeline also came with, she could also get like the friends and family tickets all the time, which weren't great seats, but if
but
you
they're
wanted
free
to be at the game.
Yeah.
And this is also right around the time where I unlocked the cheat code. I'm going to bless everybody with this. Go get yourself a battery-operated AM/FM radio if you're at a live event, a live sporting event, and tune in to the local call of the game.
Yeah.
Because you're not blessed to hear all the announcers and see all the replays and all this shit.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're not, like, a true fan with, like, binoculars, like, zoomed in on this shit, you don't know what the fuck is happening half the time. And if you got the announcer...
Especially if you're up in those fucking cheap seats.
Yeah. If you got the announcer in your ear, half the thing, and it kind of... You're like the cool guy with the news in the stands. Like, you're like... You know what I mean? You're like the dude with the radio in World War II.
It's like, no, they're going to challenge that.
No, reinforcements are coming. They're challenging the play. You know, like, so, I don't know. That was around that time. So, those five guys coming in, I mean, if you don't count restaurant interaction, like, I've met Gronk, like, at the stadium before.
Yeah.
And he, like, made... Dude, this story is so awesome. My boy Mike, we were at... like a premium passes to like Patriots practice, and it gets rained out.
Yeah.
And then my mom was with us, and she started talking like a security guy, and he's like, just wait out. When it rains out, like these guys, they come walking down this way.
Yeah.
And I had already checked out. I said, what a fucking waste of time. You know what I mean? That guy already went and got a drink. And so I'm drinking. My buddy Mike had come and sit down. He grabs a drink. All of a sudden, long story short, we see my mom like waving.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, I'm like, yeah, right. And he's like, no, bro. Like, so he takes off. That encourages me to follow him. And now you see Gronk just walking down, and he's like flanked in security and all that shit. And my boy Mike, he might be one of the few people with a louder voice than me. He screams out, somebody give that guy a new contract. And this was at the time where Gronk needed a new deal.
Yeah.
And Mike said the right thing at the right time. Gronk stopped, and he literally like waved off the security and like pointed to us and was like, come take a picture with me.
Yeah.
And like I have that picture in my phone. It's like me, my mom, Renee, and Mike.
Yeah.
And it's just like a selfie.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I got like one good one, and another one I think I have, it's like some people's heads are chopped off.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's still
dope.
like the fact that he like summoned us over and was like, yo, I appreciate the words of kindness.
Yeah. He did. He deserved a new contract.
And that's my fucking dude. Like I love Gronk, man. Like, so I don't know. He's probably like the coolest. But I really gotta. I worked in Florida for a long time. Like, I really got to think about that. You got to bless me with your story while my subconscious works on it.
Well, I just think
have you topped out at Hulk Hogan?
Oh, Hulk. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going like, Hulk Hogan was like a bucket list. Hulk Hogan was like, if you told my 10-year-old self I was going to meet Hulk Hogan one day, I would have like fucking just jizzed in my pants. Like that was fucking awesome. I was a huge Hulkamaniac as a kid. So like to me that was like my fan favorite one. But like the cool, like the one that I think historically like was like the coolest one. Like, oh shit, that's so and so was probably. It was actually probably Eli Manning. Eli Manning, he came into my restaurant when it was his rookie year, and it was like, you know, he was in town because like Peyton was playing New England like on Monday Night Football or something. So he just like happened to be in town doing like radio and shit. But like I saw him and I was just like, that's fucking Eli Manning, and he was fucking huge, way taller than you think he'd be. Like
Yeah.
he like was probably 6'5", if I had to guess. Like he towered over me. But yeah, that was the first one. Also, that was like early enough in my like bartending career and like shit where like he was like the first one I saw, and that I think kind of like set the tone where I was like, that was the first one, and after that I'm like, I don't give a fuck that you're Stephon Diggs. Who gives a shit? You know, like that kind of thing. But he was the first one where I was like, holy fucking shit, that's Eli Manning. Yeah. Probably the coolest one though, like the most down to earth dude I've ever met was Logan Mankins. His son, because they're all from like north and shit, or they all like lived in that area. He owns like a ranch or some shit now. Like,
Yeah.
But his son played football with my nephew, and so like we know them. Like, you know, I don't know Logan Mankins, but I've met him a few times. I've met his wife and shit. Like they've come to like family functions to kind of like hang out. But like he's like the most down to earth, just like nice guy you'll ever meet. Like he's just like. He's like just a normal dude who just happens to be like 300 pounds and play offensive line, you know?
He's like like I'd love to see him on you're not a Patriots fan?
I mean, I'm not a Patriot hater though. Yeah.
So like I feel like you work in an environment where if you have other killers involved, like the more well-oiled the machine, the easier your day, the better your life, the better you're feeling about things, right?
Yeah.
What Edelman is doing on his podcast, bro, kind of like revealing the behind-the-scenes guys.
Yeah.
Like he's had Ernie Adams on a few times, which is like Belichick's special assistant.
His little crony.
He's had this other guy on. I didn't even know he existed. Me. You know what I mean? I don't know who this fucking guy is, but he's another like behind the scenes, like all this. He's spilling all this fucking tea and shit. It's like the most compelling shit that I have seen.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I
like you know, actually, I recently saw like a TikTok clip of Edelman and
I was saying I would want to see Mankins on
that
because Logan Mankins had quite the run-ins with Belichick about contract disputes and stuff like that.
He almost walked away.
And he's almost kind of like, you ever hear Gronk tell that story where they traded him to the Lions?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm retired. I'm retired.
How can I play for the Lions?
I'm retired. And he's like, so then I stayed on the Patriots.
Yeah.
And he has the best like belly laugh after that. Yeah, like. Man, I love that guy. And so I just think I would love to see Mankins on because he's.
Well, that's just it. He was at a stage in his life.
He's like a cool dude.
Totally, like just absolutely down
to how it is.
You would never know that he like played professional football. Like, or I mean, you would have by looking at him because he's fucking huge. But I'm just saying, like, he just carries himself differently. Like, it's almost like it didn't even matter to him, you know. Which, I like, to me, he didn't need it at that time. When they was going through all that contract shit, he was just kind of like, I've made enough money, and I don't have to do this anymore. So if you'd like me to continue doing this, you have to pay me a certain amount of money. And that was it. And so I felt like Belichick almost ran into, like, his kryptonite, where, like, he couldn't, like, sway him.
Like, no leverage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, I guess we just have to pay you.
That, like, reminds me of, like, my exit interview over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just be like, if you're not going to change these few things, like there's nothing that you can do to make me happy enough to return.
Right, yeah. So bye.
Yeah. Unfortunately, see ya. I guess I'm going to go play for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So I think that's what ended up happening. Like that it ends with them like trading Mankins to Tampa Bay for like a 5th round draft pick or something like that.
Yeah, but even then, didn't they give him the contract first? I think
they gave him the.
Yeah.
I think he
and then like towards the end of that, but that's football.
They just dumped the last year of the deal on somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Belichick. That's what he did for freaking 15 years.
Yeah. And even then, I think Mankins had like one good year with the Bucs, right?
I don't know. I don't think I was paying that much attention to that team at the time.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, he's probably like honorable mention Lawrence Maroney though. Lawrence Maroney was like a really cool dude. He had an absolutely busted girlfriend. Though.
I've waited on him before too. That's
really?
Yeah. These guys used to come into TGI Fridays in North Attleboro.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot about that. I've waited on Will Fork.
Yeah. Will Fork. He's like Will Fork is crazy. He's like shaped like a giant bowling ball.
Like a pear.
Yeah, he's almost like completely like an oval.
Dude, him and his whole fat family would fucking stuff themselves into this booth. And I remember they would drink like a case of bottled water between them.
Yeah.
But I waited on Troy Brown at TGI Fridays. I waited on Asante Samuel.
Yeah.
I waited on Deltha O'Neal, which is a real...
Yeah, that's a deep dive.
Yeah, that's a deep dive. A few other Lawrence Maroney, Chad Jackson. He was like a second round kind of bust pick.
Oh, actually, I got a good one. I waited on Christian Fourier.
Oh wow!
But Christian Fourier was Christian Fourier and then like two dudes and then like another guy joined them after the fact. Well, a guy I didn't recognize, obviously. So, but at the time, my nephew was like, a big Patriots fan. I was like probably 04-ish, maybe. They're winning Super Bowls.
So he's playing for them. At the time.
So he's playing. Yeah. So my nephew's a big fan. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna try and get his autograph. So I'm like, hey, Christian, we mind signing like an autograph for my nephew? His name's Jake. And he's signing the autograph. And he's like, do you want his autograph too? And I look at him. I'm like, I'm good. It was Josh Miller, the punter.
I don't even know him. That's funny.
He was actually a really good punter for you guys, and he used to come into the bar all the time. But I think he came into the bar all the time just because of like my reaction to him at that point. So I think he kind of just thought it was funny and appreciated that I just like totally negged him in front of all of his friends. I was like, I'm all set. Thank you, though.
That's hilarious. I can't think of. I asked Jamie Collins for his autograph after like the third time I took care of him.
Yeah.
He signed the tickets. Because that's another thing too. I had that. That's what it was. The lady had given me the tickets like either before the shift or something. I had met up with her.
Yeah.
So I actually had Gostowski's tickets in my back pocket.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
I like produced the tickets, and he was like,
"How did you do that?"
Yeah. And then I was like, "Yo, will you sign one of those?" And I think he signed two of them, and I gave one to one of my buddies that went. But
you know what? I'm like not an autograph guy, really.
Yeah,
like even that one time I did it with Fourier, like I would never do that again to anyone else. Like the Hulk, like the guy, because the what made me able to meet the Hulk really was that the guy who was head of the security sat at the bar while Hulk did all of his shit. So I got to chopping it up with him, and I was like, dude, I can't let Hulk leave this building without taking a picture. And he was like, I'll arrange it. I'll make sure you get your picture. And he was just like, do you want me to sign something too? And I had the chance to do it, and I was kind of just like, nah, I'm good. Like, it's just not my thing. Plus, Jeff had given me, like, this poster board or whatever, which would have been a cool place to put a signature on. But then, like, the Moonshine Alley bouncer from across the street was over there, and he was like, yo, give me a piece of paper. I'm going to try and get Hulk to give me a signature for my nephew. And I was like, it's for a fucking kid. Just take this poster and fucking have him sign that shit. That'd be, like, a way cooler thing for a 10-year-old kid to get than it will be for me to. What am I gonna fucking do?
And your kids don't give a shit about
my kids don't give a fuck about wrestling. Yeah. Or at the very least, like, any amount of wrestling they do know about, it's not fucking 1992 Royal Rumble wrestling,
Bro, I've always wanted to do this, is have arrange a redraft league where you don't essentially get a snake draft, like throughout the course of the off season. Each round is pegged on. So I got to stop saying this word. Each round is associated with some sort of randomization pairing of like. So you take like the 3 horse races, you take the Royal Rumble, you take some NASCAR, you take some Formula One, any other kind of the Boston Marathon, like whatever it is.
Oh wow! So not even talking like doing one thing for the draft order. You're talking doing like 16 things like for the draft order every round.
Yeah, like you and the boys get together, because we did it in my fantasy league that I've been in alongside with yours. We've done it with the horse races before.
Yeah.
Like however, like we haven't. We're so blessed to have even gotten on the same page to do it for one.
Yeah.
But I've tried to be like, why don't we do the first 3 rounds as each race, But we've only managed to either, get, I think one year we even did the middle one just because we were just trying to get it done, But it is like a thing. Like I remember before, I think I worked at the burger joint on Atwell's at the time, so I had a later in time. So whatever time the race was on, I was able to watch it before work. And I'd never really been like a big horse racing guy anyway, but I am fucking in front of the TV like, go. Like, and I was like, this is fucking so exciting. Like if the boys were here right now, like this would have been.
So have you never gone to like a live horse race?
Nah.
Oh wow,
no,
they're fucking fun.
Or like a dog track either, which I guess I'm against with the whole animal cruelty and stuff like that.
I mean, they don't treat the horses any better.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying though is like I lived in Florida at the time before I had like a kindness awakening.
Yeah,
and I never went to like a horse track or a dog track or anything. So.
Yeah, I've been to Saratoga's fun. That's obviously closer too, but if you ever have a chance to go up there, that's cool. But my dad actually. We used to living out in Cali. And I think there's I think it's like in Del Mar or something. There's like a racetrack that he like took us to a couple times. My dad was a weird dude, but yeah, that was fun. The horse races are fucking awesome. They're so exciting. Like to me, And also, like, there's like no bad seat. It's just like it's a cool environment. Like, there's excitement, there's buzz. It's like it's almost way different than you experience at like a normal sporting event. I would encourage anyone to go to see a fucking horse race, dude. They're fucking cool.
I can't think of a place that I would be more shamed of being a wearing all black all the time guy than going to like a horse track in my attire.
Why?
Because I feel like everybody's wearing like pastels and fucking white suits and shit.
well,
and
I mean,
I
if
just
you go to,
show up in my fucking.
If you go to like the Kentucky Derby
all
and shit like
gouged
those,
out.
yeah, I've never gone to any of that shit. But I mean, that shit's like upper crust.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking like, going to like the fucking, horse races on like a fucking Tuesday night, like, where, it's just you and a bunch of degenerate gamblers.
We've talked about this before, like watching YouTube videos of degenerate gamblers.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like fucking hitting themselves on the ass with the papers.
Yeah.
Like, that's incredible. I would love to see that live, but just on a people watching aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, just watching a dude bet his last like $8 on a horse to show.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
I got to come up with some other things besides like horse races and car races, though. Like the Boston,
Royal Rumble's a good one. That's a great one, actually.
the Boston Marathon, I feel like would be a good one. But it's
yeah,
like,
but there's some like how do you even like handicap that? Do you just like get like the top 16 people or something, or
yeah, and like however they finish is a draft order. It's not
Yeah.
like it's not the place that they finish in, because obviously that wouldn't make any sense, and it doesn't account for like random people.
yeah.
Doesn't account for like the underdog out of the top 50 finishing in the top 10.
I mean, if you do it on a World Cup year, you can always use the World Cup, like the
Yeah.
whenever.
Dude, that's a great
Yeah.
idea, because that would take a while to play out.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, it takes like a month.
Yeah.
But and it's in the summer too, which is cool. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. Actually, when is the next?
Yeah, or
oh,
like-
the next World Cup is fucking in the U.S.
Or I guess maybe like a
Actually, I gotta fucking. Do you have a hookup at Gillette for tickets still?
probably.
I gotta fucking get World Cup tickets for me and my stepfather at least, like, because like he's a huge soccer. He's Mexican, so he's like a huge soccer
Yeah.
fan. I don't give a fuck if it would be like Slovakia against fucking.
So are you inherently like you root for Mexico?
Love Mexico. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mexico's my team. Yeah, I grew up watching Mexican soccer.
That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, I
Do you also have like a respect for like Mexicans are like the best boxers? Does that
nah,
that
that didn't
storyline
translate.
run? No.
Nah, he wasn't a big boxing guy. He was a
No?
big baseball guy though. So
Yeah.
I was growing up during like the Fernando Mania. And you remember Fernando Valenzuela?
No.
You don't remember? Fernando Valenzuela was like a huge 80s icon for the Dodgers, left-handed pitcher from Mexico. It's like this little fat like butterbean kind of dude.
I don't know that. Man.
He was. Yeah, I think he won the Cy Young, or he won maybe the Rookie of the Year, 85. But yeah, he was a fucking solid pitcher for the Dodgers. But like that was like the guy in our house was like Fernando Valenzuela.
Yeah.
So
I feel like if I'm gonna root for a team with who I've like cut the most blood, sweat, and tears with, it's got to be like I've worked with more Guatemalans in the kitchen
yeah,
than anybody.
yeah.
But I seem to always gravitate towards like an Ivory Coast African, like Cote d'Ivory or something.
Yeah.
I'm just like, where is there like where are all of these guys like actually like fired an AK-47 on an enemy before? You know what I mean? Like that's who I like rooting for.
You like rooting for sad shit. Gotcha.
No, not sad. I just want to see like a team of like mercenaries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like be like go to the World Cup and be like, you think this is a game?
Yeah.
I'll show you a game.
Yeah. It's just warlords. Just
Yeah.
rooting for them.
That's what I want to see.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Be like kicking a ball.
Just kicking around a human head.
I've held
Yeah.
a head and a machete in both hands before.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I don't know. I don't know, man. Just something about soccer just takes so long for like the
It
play
really doesn't.
for the play to develop.
Well,
Well, you're
yeah,
like
I'll give you
watching them
that.
just like run around for like I get it. Like if you're into it, cool. But like it's just like how we've like Americans have been tuned. You know what I mean? You're just like
I think the only thing that stops me from being like an avid soccer fan is the flopping and shit. However, I find it confusing when like American sports American sports fans complain about that aspect of it and then watch an NBA game without like batting an eye. It's like the NBA is filled with flopping.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's absolutely rampant in the league at this point. Like to me, I think you have to be a fucking tougher person to play soccer than you do fucking basketball at this point. Like it's the gayest sport ever.
I think definitely on like a mental aspect.
Yeah. Well, to me, it was so anyway. What I'm saying though is just like I get like not liking soccer that much because of that aspect. But if you watch basketball, to me, it's like it's better than basketball. It's more action packed. Fuck. It's like, to me, I would rather watch, that whole shit like transpired. There's no commercials. There's no nothing. It's just the sport. I'm fucking dying here. I'd rather watch that, though, than a fucking basketball game any day of the week. There might only be 3 goals in the whole fucking game, but they're way more exciting than any play that happens in basketball. Basketball is just fucking, 10 dudes launching threes at this point.
Dude, I want to say, like the USA winning the gold in the Olympics. That's probably like the most. I watched that basketball with more like heart than I did even like the last Celtics championship.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So like you were like pumped about like USA winning gold?
Not really pumped. Like I just thought that.
Well, I mean, you got to be pumped if you're like on the same level as the Celtics fan, right?
Nah, because I want to say like I have been like actively trying to participate in sports less.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like this time around with the Celtics, like I wasn't watching every game like it fucking mattered. You know what I mean? Like literally like the last game that I watched that I was yelling at the TV, like really gave a shit about the outcome of was Brady's last game against
Matt Stafford?
Stafford's Rams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They ripped your heart out.
That game was like back and forth.
It was a fucking great game.
Like that, I'll put that game up. There's like a Tony Romo against Peyton Manning game, which is like very just back and forth, like one of the most exciting games that I've ever seen. And
and the way it ended, I mean, it's fucking crazy ending.
Poetic justice for Brady to lose on a last second field goal when he won so many games like that. Yeah, it's like that's how it came to an end. Like.
Yep. Well, I mean, the play was the fucking the bomb to Cup down the middle.
Yeah,
like that was like the holy fucking
but like,
shit.
What? Why would you? I just don't understand why the defense would like call that play.
Yeah, it was terrible defense.
It's just so.
Yeah, I don't know how you're not in prevent at that point.
That's like the last game that I watched and then ever since then, I've just kind of been attempting to pair sports in with like the whole conspiracy theory thing of like this is the fucking Roman circus to distract me from overthrowing the government, and I don't want to be distracted anymore. And also, like, I'm putting all this fucking time, effort, and energy into watching these guys live their dreams out while I'm sitting on my couch without my house paid off. Like, go live your fucking dreams.
Yeah.
Like, my dreams would be to see my hot wife on a bikini in a fucking Caribbean island somewhere. Like, why are we not doing that instead of focusing, cheering for the fucking Patriots and spending all this money on season tickets and all this shit? You know what I mean? Like, so I've just, I've actively been trying to pare it back. But like, if you drop me off unsupervised somewhere at a bar where all the sports are on, I'm fucking getting down.
Yeah,
right.
But you're no longer like a fucking cog in like the capitalistic wheel of it.
Yes,
I will say I don't know what the fuck you were doing like all those years with those tickets. Dude, going to one football game a year, like that's a $500 fucking expense. Like, period. Like, dude, how the fuck did you afford to go to all those games? And you're going to good fucking games too. Like,
well, it's because I was blessed. I was blessed to just to bring it back to hospitality. I got blessed into a situation where I met a family that had like a 10-pack of season tickets.
Yeah,
the grandparents were getting too old. The grandkids were too young to justify spending the money on taking them.
Yeah, and
they were trying to find like people who would take it easy and like respect the season tickets. And, they just mistakenly to them, they were like,
this drunk maniac is perfect.
Yeah, but I mean, I made it for 3 seasons. So I had those season tickets. I mean, I think I probably spent like I think it was like $4,000 a year.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to spend on fucking football games.
Yeah. But I mean, at this point, dude, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm a maniac at this point in my life. I'm drinking every single day. I'm working a lot. You know what I mean? I'm not married. I don't have any kids.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I'm not doing any like excessive drugs at this time. I don't have an opioid problem. I don't have a coke problem at this time in my life. So it's like, I'm just making enough to do it, and
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. And plus, like, you're not buying the tickets. If you buy the tickets on StubHub, it's a totally different story. Like, you know what I mean? It's like basically like I'm going to these games like a $600 buy-in, and then
Yeah.
it's like I'm bringing some fucking dummy with me. They're giving me $50 for the parking. They're giving me a few $100 for the tickets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's all said and then you recoup probably like $150 of it. Yeah.
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 You know. So
Actually, I fucking started. I
and-
use SeatGeek. SeatGeek. Like I never used that before to get tickets to a Mets game in a couple weeks with a kid. That's like way cheaper. I don't know why the fuck anyone ever like orders them anywhere else. Like,
Yeah.
you just wait for these fucking idiots to like put them up there, and you're like, all right, yeah, I'll take fucking first row seats for $50.
I forget what the app is that I use now, but it's like basically they just give you all of like the fees and everything up front. Like the ticket prices that you're looking at are what they are when you check out.
Yeah.
And StubHub, it's like, dude, like you think, okay, cool, $300, I'll pay that for
Right,
it to
and then
go
when you
see.
get
Then
to fees,
check
it's
out,
like
it's
$600.
fucking $400, $600. Like you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's another thing too. Like I used to want to be going to all the concerts, having all these fucking experiences. You know what I mean? And now it's like I've just been like, dude, I don't want to be around that many people at once.
Yeah.
It's like I've been there, I've done that. All the music that I like, they're like aging out. Like I took my old man. That was like a bucket list thing I did. I took my pops to see the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
And it's like to me, like like I watched like the first 3 songs, and I almost looked at them like, yo, you want to get out of here?
Yeah.
These guys fucking suck, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Well, they're fucking 80.
yeah, like all I could see is like the fucking the druggy guitarist like fucking everything up.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, so we're basically just paying to see these fucking meat puppets gallivant around while like the band in the background is actually playing
Yes.
the music. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like I'm fucking all set with this shit. You know, it's just
Yeah.
another ring of the Roman circus.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I'm cool, man. Just let me fucking grow some berries in my backyard and hang out with my dogs and fucking plow my wife whenever I want. I'm happy, you know?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And also the Rolling Stones are kind of like, I don't know.
I mean, that's pushing it. Like,
What?
I should have known what I was getting into at that point, you know? Like,
Oh yeah.
I think the oldest thing I think I had seen at that point was maybe like Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
And I don't even think, I think all the original guys are dead anyway, right? So it's just like a bunch of carry-on guys.
Yeah, or I bet you like they still have like their keyboardist and like their bass player. And
I
it's
don't
like,
think-
are you Leonard Skinner?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I think like a lot of that band went the way of that baseball player. Like I think they died in like a plane crash.
Yeah,
or
well, I
some
was gonna
shit.
say
like,
Van Zandt died in like fucking 81, didn't he, or something?
I don't
like,
know.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yo, speaking of, what about the dude that played Roy Halladay? He died in a plane crash, and people were saying that he was like he was seen beforehand, like just making his plane do like crazy maneuvers.
Yeah.
Like he was like dive bombing his plane and then like riding back up, like dive bombing his plane, riding back, and eventually like the thing just like
Didn't do it?
gave
Yeah.
out. Yeah, like it was just like I don't know, like taking the plane past its
Like limits.
capacities.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So
that's-
what you're saying that he just was like a maniac, or
I think
Like,
so. Yeah, like
yeah.
he was getting his like adrenaline rush out on like this like on
Yeah.
thing. We'll have to look into it for next week. But I remember seeing that and being like, that's weird.
you
for-
remember Corey Lytle, pitcher? I think it was for the Yankees, maybe.
No.
I think he played for a couple teams. He was like a Blue Jay and shit. He crashed his plane into a fucking building in New York
Oh.
City. Yeah.
I remember seeing it. Did he die from it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you watched the news? When you crash a plane into a building, usually it's not something you walk away
I
from.
don't know, man. I've only ever seen like holograms
Yeah.
tricking me into
Gotcha.
controlled demolitions on TV.
Yeah. I'm surprised your next question wasn't, did the building fall down?
Yeah.
I don't think it did.
I mean, I don't want to get into that, but I mean, I do, but
Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams.
yeah, like show that to me. And you know what's it's like, I don't want to get into it,
But-
but a compelling thing that I have seen, if you look it up, like people have like isolated the physics of the top half of the building,
Okay.
like the building above where the plane hits, right?
Yeah.
And basically, like they track the falling of this building in real time, and like the physics behind it just doesn't make any sense because they're saying that like even if the top of the building had the momentum and the weight and everything to crush inherent floors,
Yeah.
that that part of the building falls at free fall. So there's there's no resistance underneath that thing. Like if the theory is that the weight just crumpled the building,
Yeah.
it's like there should be like residual, like it should have fallen
Yeah, like a
slower.
chunk.
And instead
Yeah.
it comes down like any controlled demolition you've seen on TV of an old building, you know? So
Yeah.
and also, you know that there's another building that fell down that wasn't even struck by a plane? like Tower 7 or something like that. There's like another building that comes down and no fucking plane hit it.
Well, there's the 2 Twin Towers. Was there
There's
another
a third building,
building?
bro.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
When
which
it
I
comes-
see your little skeptical smile though. It's like you didn't even know about the third building
I
falling
didn't
down.
because yeah. Well, here's the thing: when it comes to the 9/11 tragedy,
Like, please don't get me and my family killed in our sleep, Ryan.
when it comes to the 9/11 shit, the only reason, and literally the only reason I don't believe in the conspiracies behind it, is because the people who died had a lot of money, and we don't kill people who have a lot of money. We don't kill white people. That's just not how it works. So I'm gonna trust that it was probably not that. Didn't go down that
do
way.
you also know the timeline of I forget who it is, maybe Donald Rumsfeld or something, like right before 9/11, he has to tell the American
$1 trillion
people that
thing?
we've misplaced all of this money, right? And then like the place, specifically the piece of the Pentagon that gets blown up and where the first plane hits the first tower,
Yeah.
that's like a huge financial database center. So they lost like all of this data and
Yeah.
all of this shit in these fires. And then the guy who owns the towers filed two different insurance claims because they said that 2 planes, 2 different acts of terrorism. His payout is something astronomical in the buildings.
Yeah.
And before that, there's also a thing of like they tried to sell the Twin Towers and they were told that the asbestos levels were so high that basically to fix this, they would have to demolish the towers anyway. And that they were this like, you know, this piece of this anchor of a real estate problem.
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot of sketchy things, dude, that if you like a lot of people will say like if you want to uncover the conspiracy, just follow the money because it's all about the money. It's all about a greedy monkey just breaking containment and doing what's good for themselves and their friends
Yeah.
and just follow the money. And there's a lot of
all right.
sketchy things about the money when it comes to that shit.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll take it a step further. I don't care about the 9/11 shit because even if you were in those buildings, you were probably a money-hungry piece of shit yourself. So, bye. Yeah, there you go.
That's a hot take.
I feel bad for the cops and the first responders and shit who died in that too. But
Yeah.
but outside of that, like if you were working within that building, you know, probably a lot of fucking Jeffrey Epsteins in that building.
Dude, I had like we used to have this regular that was like the lady who was like the president of that company. She used to be like a nanny for this kid back in the day.
Yeah.
So he would like come into the restaurants thinking that he's like Mr. Entitled, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I guess he has like an uncle or something that like died in 9/11. And like anytime he's like, you wouldn't be saying that if you had a family member that died in that. And it's like, dude, like I'm kind of like, I'm trying to uncover the truth
Yeah.
of like what happened to your uncle. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you
I'm
think-
kind of a hero.
Like, your uncle's not a fucking firefighter that died. Like he was working in the buildings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah,
trying to uncover.
he was probably like short selling some stock that
Yeah.
like was fucking
Yeah.
cutting off African kids' hands in fucking Ghana. Like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. you
I
know?
just that just always like I always remember him like saying that, being all fired up about it, being
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck, dude?" Like, I don't think you're downloading all of the information correctly, my guy. Like,
I mean, that and also, you know, was it a tragedy? Sure. What was it, like 3,300 people died? Like, dude, that's like chump numbers, like Bustos numbers. We've murdered
yeah,
20 times that amount of people, like in one go, you know?
yeah. Like, didn't like I feel like I heard this number about like World War II. Like, we lost like 1 million people.
Oh,
And
well, if
Russia
you-
lost.
well, I was-
Russia lost 20 times that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Russia. Like, if you look at the Russian losses in World War II, dude, it's fucking astronomical.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they're like just throwing dudes away.
But yeah, dude, I don't know. I just there's a lot of shit to unpack.
Yeah.
About the 9/11 shit.
And it all started with Hulk Hogan. That was a good run we had there.
Yeah. I think it's funny that your love and compassion I want to cycle for Hulk Hogan. I want to tie back around to the fact that you were forced into being G.I. Joe.
Yes. Well,
So
no,
you're always-
I was forced into being Cobra.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
All right.
yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. No, my brother always was G.I. Joe.
All right, so either way, I feel like you can play off of the G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Where like you were forced into being the bad guy in G.I. Joe, and you're like, I love the good guys in wrestling.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do
No,
about
yeah.
it.
Honestly, when Hulk Hogan turned heel, that was like the moment that was like honestly the last time I ever watched wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always like the I had like checked out of wrestling at that point.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I
when-
kind of
when-
had to, but at that point, I was definitely like, "Oh, fuck this! I'm not watching Hulk Hogan be like a
Yeah.
fucking bad guy."
I don't know what I was. I
Yeah.
think I got into like X Games shit. That's what I was into. 'Cause I
Well,
really was
yeah.
into like wrestling and comic book cards and shit, and like GI Joe.
Yeah.
Like that dominated like my
Well, actually,
my
yeah, it was-
elementary school years, and then I feel like Hulk Hogan goes rogue in like middle school. And at middle school, I had found like aggressive inline skating and jinkos and
yeah.
like
I was gonna
Tony-
say now that I think
Tony
about it,
Hawk
those
Pro
drugs.
Skater.
Yeah,
Like
drugs probably ruined my love for WWF.
no, it would be WCW at this point, right? Because they all go over. Like NWO was WCW, right? With
Okay.
like Hulk and Razor Ramon
Yeah.
all
So
being
like
fucking...
my peak like watching wrestling was then the WWF, where it was like the early part
like
of like
Yokozuna versus Hulk,
Yokozuna,
like, yeah.
Earthquake, like
But I feel-
Razor,
all right,
Razor
so
Ramon.
I mean
yeah.
that's when I was fully checked in at this point.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe Hulk was like the gateway drug to get me into this,
Yeah.
but at that point I was way more about like Bret
Bret Hart,
Hart,
yeah.
Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, bro. Like The
Yeah.
Undertaker
So
versus
that was like
Yokozuna.
early
Like,
Undertaker. Yeah.
And I feel like Undertaker was also like he was a bad guy, but he was a good guy at the same
Kind
time.
of,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
I
he
was
towed the line.
way more of like I feel like if you put me in like a pro wrestling environment and they were all around, I'd be way more soup to meet the Undertaker
Yeah.
than Hulk Hogan. Like I would walk right by Hulk Hogan to fucking hang out with the Undertaker.
Yeah, well, Undertaker was cool, but like I said, that was like he was like at the beginning of his career when I was like starting to get out of wrestling.
Yeah.
So like to me, like I watched, Hulk Hogan win back-to-back Royal Rumbles, his feud with Earthquake. I watched,
Yeah.
I was too young to watch it live, but I had like the VHS of like Hulk Hogan
Yeah,
like
see?
body
This is
slamming
what I
Andre the
think-
Giant.
I
And I
think
fucking wore that shit out. You
You're
know?
like benefiting from having like an older brother.
Yes, very much so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because he was the one really
he was the guy.
that
Yeah.
was in the
He was the
heyday,
trailblazing.
But he
Yeah.
kept the tapes and shit, and you kept watching
yeah.
him. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's funny. Like that, I always say there was like when my family moved to Florida, we became poor.
Yeah.
Like we were doing well when we lived up here when I was a kid, because we would always get the fucking what do you call that? The pay-per-views.
Yeah.
We would go to like the live events when they would come around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it was dope. Wrestling was cool, man.
Yeah.
As a kid.
So
Wrestling-
you've gone to a live like wrestling?
A lot of them, yeah. Like when they would go to like the where the Providence Bruins play.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time my uncle was like my mom's brother was like a wild man. He was like a construction worker or mason. He played in like a rock band.
Yeah.
And I had long hair, kind of like dressed like the hair metal vibe of the time.
Yeah.
Not like super, little bit of hair metal, not fucking gay hair metal. Like
Not
And-
glam rock.
yeah. Like he wasn't wearing makeup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe he
Right,
had
more like a what's the band I'm thinking of? Like a Slayer kind of feel to him.
no.
Like,
More maybe like David Lee Roth.
okay.
Like I don't think David Lee Roth is really wearing makeup. You know,
Yeah,
maybe he
well,
has like some
kinda is.
spandex
Yeah.
pants or something. You know what I
He's
mean?
got
But-
tassels. I mean, that's it's adjacent. You know?
Cool. All right, somebody else in Van Halen.
All right.
So we're at the we're going to like this wrestling event and everybody's coming out. And at the time they have like I feel like they've had it around where you work at for a while when they're working on buildings. They have like the staging set up.
Yeah.
And there's like all these planks that run across it so that the workers have like it's almost like a second level for them to be
Yeah.
working on, right? But the civilians, like you're all walking underneath this structure,
Right.
So my uncle being in the trades and stuff, he knows he can get up there and just run, right? So he fucking climbs up there and like there's all these people like exiting the arena at this time,
Yeah.
So he just runs up there, he's like stomping all around, making all these crazy noises and shit like that. And whatever he ran through, now he fucking is like covered in like fucking white like
Like
dust.
plaster.
Yeah, like dust. And he's got like crazy hair at the time, so he just looks like I don't know. He looks like the dude from Ace Ventura, like when they let him out of the bag. You know what I mean? He just
Yeah.
has like this crazy. So he jumps down off this thing, and the lady in front of us wasn't even like at the wrestling event. She's just this like immigrant lady, and she starts like, and like me as like an 8-year-old kid, like
El
or how-
Diablo.
Yeah, she said something like that
Uh.
to him and just started fucking running. I was like, that is the fucking funniest shit
Oh.
I have ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I forget exactly what she said, but we used to say that to like my uncle all the time
Yeah.
when we'd see him. Like,
El Chupacabra.
yeah. Another funny thing, shout out to my uncle that I never forget. He had like he was dating a crazy lady, and they had, like, I don't know, drinking or two. I don't know what they were into, but she was nuts.
Yeah.
And, I think a situation happened where he just had to leave his house. So he came and, like, lived with us instead.
Yeah.
And he
So
was,
he just abandoned all of his shit.
yeah, I guess. Like,
I gotta get the fuck out of there.
he was like he was a bassist in a rock band, and there's this crazy, like, groupie lady and actually they had probably like a 30-year love affair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they just were
Just
she was
fucking
too wild to
Sid
ever
and Nancy?
settle her down. Yeah. And but I remember one time I'm fucking drawing a picture of a butterfly from my mom, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little kid. I'm like not even fucking 10 years old probably. And he comes by, he looks in the window, and I'm drawing the midsection of this butterfly at the time. He goes, "Hey! Quit drawing those big black dicks!" Like, I will never forget that, bro. And like, I scream that at my uncle as often as I can.
Yeah.
Like, if I ever see him like out in the wild and he hasn't seen me yell, "Hey!" But yeah, I don't know. The funny things that you remember as a kid.
I was gonna say, is that like the genesis of everything for you?
Maybe, yeah.
That's the moment you like turned on and you were like, holy shit, I could say shit like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, me and that uncle, we watched Beavis and Butthead together.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. He used to take me on to Ann and Hope. You know what Ann and Hope is? And he would like kind of take me on the toy aisle and like buy me toys and shit. Like, he was a cool uncle. He would wrestle with me.
Yeah.
Like, I remember jumping off the couch, giving him
giving the flying
elbows and
Hell
shit. Yeah. And he would fake it out. He'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh."
Well, I mean, you got to sell it. You know? That's part of the show.
My Uncle Mike was cool. He had an El Camino.
Nice.
El Camino played the bass. You know what I mean? I remember one time he was playing at some outdoor festival or something, and my immediate family had gotten there too late, and I loved Cat Scratch Fever. Like, that's what I wanted to hear him play.
Yeah.
And I was fucking crying that they had played it already. And then at the end of the set, he goes, "My nephew missed it. We're playing it one more time. Cat Scratch Fever." And I was like, I was like on my stepdad's shoulders, like fucking rocking out. Yeah.
You're a big Nugent guy?
I used to be, and then I mean, if you look into any of your fucking rock legends, they're all fucking child molesters. Yeah,
don't peel back the cover of that fucking story.
Yeah, and I also like, have you ever seen like recent Ted Nugent like on the news and shit?
He's straight fucking bananas,
bro. He goes, "I want to speak to everybody that's gotten the jab," and he's like, "Bah, bah, bah." I speak their language, and and the newscaster's like, "So are you saying that everybody that got the vaccine is like a sheep and dumb?" And he's like, "Yep, that's what I'm saying." But yeah, he's wild. I remember my family also, they made me the wild man that I am today. My first concert was a Damn Yankees concert.
Oh, nice.
You know Damn Yankees?
Can you take me?
Yeah, but that's like a Ted Nugent supergroup, right?
Yeah.
So they took me to that show. It was like Damn Yankees, Poison, and Rat.
Holy shit.
That was my first concert at Great Woods. And at the time, Ted Nugent had this gimmick. And it also tied in, dude, we have great talks, man. It tied into wrestling at the time, right?
Yeah.
Because I love G.I. Joe. You know who else was in wrestling? Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sergeant Slaughter's fucking enemies were like the fucking
Iron Sheik.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so Ted Nugent had this gimmick at the time where he fucking takes a flaming bow and arrow and he shoots it across the crowd at this big cutout of Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
Because we're involved in the
Gulf
Desert
War.
Storm conflict at the time. Yeah. So I remember seeing that. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, so flaming bow and arrow. And it ties into all the wrestling and Sergeant Slaughter and G.I. Joe and everything. And my mom worked at Hasbro, obviously, so I feel like I got the hookup on all the fucking toys in the back room and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
but you did never get the aircraft carrier.
Nah. But dude, I feel like that would be a fun thing to do because they still have, I feel like this, if you remember it from this time span, do you remember like a toy box, like a Ninja Turtle toy box? It might have been like a knockoff. Like, it's just like a square chest with like a thing. It's perfect. It's a cube, but it's just like a toy box. And it's all painted Ninja Turtle scenes on it. Yeah. I think there's like 3 or 4 different ones. I've looked them up on eBay before.
Oh, you know what? Is it like one of those like almost like lunchbox kind of things?
No, like it's probably like a 3x3, 4x4.
But I'm saying like it's made of like that metal. Like it's a metal box, right?
No, it's a wooden box with like metal framing. Like it's very similar to like a chest, like an old school travel chest.
Okay.
Like it has like the clasps.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But it's just like a cube. And it has all these different scenes from like the Ninja Turtles paint. It's definitely knockoff. Like some other company made this like on the heels of Ninja Turtles. But I mean we don't talk about that enough. Like, I got into Ninja Turtles big time. But
did you ever eat the fucking the Ninja Turtle fruit pies?
Yeah.
hell
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah,
Turn
bro.
your tongue green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I had the I had a lot of Ninja Turtles figures, but I didn't have the play sets. I had like the thing that shot the pizzas,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I didn't have
Like the car or whatever, the van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the van is a different thing.
That's shot pizzas too, though, didn't it?
I don't think so. Well, I don't know. I never fucking had it.
Oh, well, yeah, I think I had that.
I had a traumatizing experience. This goes how I just don't tolerate being stolen from.
Okay.
I took all my Ninja Turtles to summer camp. I put them down for like 1 second, jacked, gone,
Oh.
bro. Very traumatizing day of my life.
Yeah.
And I never forget that. If I could find the kids that did that, I'd cut their fucking hands off in front of their family.
Let's
to this
find
day.
them.
But I don't know. That'd be quite the
We should make this podcast all about that now. From now on, like,
we're gonna
all we're doing is
down my childhood
we're getting
trauma.
a roster of all the kids that were there. We're going to fucking track them all down. We're going to, like, vet them, you know? Because, I mean, obviously, this isn't an isolated incident. Anybody who stole your shit as a fucking 9-year-old or whatever probably led a life of crime thereafter.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I want
Or
some police records.
It was like the person running the camp. Like my kid could use these.
Ooh, that's even better. That's true. Yeah, we can look up, you know, somebody else must have caught these motherfuckers eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's turn the show into the fucking Hardy Boys.
I'm saying I got that box, right? And it
Yeah.
still has like all these
Sorry, back to the box.
back to the box and the
Uh.
pegs. Still has all my childhood toys in it. Well,
Yeah.
not all of them, but a lot of them. But I feel like if me and you were to go through that, like we'd be like,
Oh,
"What,
shit!
dude?" Yeah, like I couldn't
Bebop,
find.
Rocksteady.
Yeah. That'd be a treasure if they were still. Bebop and Rocksteady made it deep into. Yeah, like they were fucking around with the X-Men. Like the X-Men were like the end of my action figure
Okay,
collecting.
gotcha.
You know what I mean? But like Bebop and Rocksteady, they fucking.
So for me, my wrestling love and my love of G.I. Joe's like coalesced. And do you remember like the line of G.I. Joe wrestler like figures? You had like, you know, Tatanka and like fucking, I think, who else was in there? Like it was like basically like that era of wrestlers after Hulk, but then like before like The Rock and shit, like 93-ish, I
Like
would say.
like the rest are they?
Yeah, Big Boss Man was one of them.
wrestling figures or are
They're-
they GI Joe?
They're G.I. Joes that are of wrestling guys. So you had
I
like
don't think I've
Big
ever
Boss
seen
Man,
them, bro. Like they're like O-ring three,
O-ring, 3 rings,
3/4 inch.
all the moves, like the arms moving shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I would just like, you know, sit for hours just being like, you know, because I would have my wrestling fucking ring,
Yeah.
you know, that used for the bigger guys, but G.I. Joes were like more suited for it anyway. So I was just like, that was like
Yeah.
my entire day was just me like fucking wrestling, like fucking my wrestling G.I. Joe figures and being like, who's going to win the championship this year?
Yeah.
You know that dude, Dan Soder?
Dude, I was just gonna bring this up.
He is like my spirit animal. I don't know, like he's just to me. I lived the same exact life as this dude.
Like, because you were smoking cigarettes
Yeah,
early?
smoking
You've heard
cigarettes
that
early.
story?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where he's like outside smoking a butt, be like, I think Tatanka's going to win the Intercontinental this year. It's like, dude, that's what I would do.
That's hilarious, bro. Except you were smoking inside.
Yeah, I was smoking inside. I was smoking Merit Ultralight 100s because that's what my mom smoked.
Dude, that brought that conversation brought me to try to find like check up on the people whose parents let them smoke on the inside.
Yeah.
I can't find any of them on social
They're all
media.
dead.
They're like all dead.
Yeah.
Shout out, if anybody's watching this that I went to high school with, where the fuck is Stacey Davis at?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. She was
she
like,
all right?
I don't know. She was like my friend. She was like a Marilyn Manson chick, and her mom let her smoke cigarettes on the inside. We'll buy her cartons of cigarettes, and I try to find her, and she's nowhere to be found.
I'm not good at remembering people's last names. That's my problem when it came to like face. Like I found all the people that like I never wanted to talk to again anyway, but then like all the people I did, I was like,
Dude,
I don't remember you.
I feel
their
like
last name.
Facebook is like notorious for putting people in like the people you may know.
Yeah.
Like just retitle that as to like everybody I hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like
Well, that also Facebook. Now I've been on it for fucking
yeah, like,
20 years.
Whoever
It's
I
like-
haven't been friends with
exactly.
yet, I
It's
fucking don't like these
purposeful.
people. Yeah.
I will say though, actually, all the social media has done is made me like appreciate the fact that like the people I didn't hang out with really, like the ancillary people that you were like, oh, I know that guy. Like now as a grown adult, I'm like, oh, I wish I'd hung out with this dude. He seems like a fucking cool guy. And all of my actual friends are the ones that are online like spouting crazy shit where you're like, how the fuck did I stay friends
Yeah.
with this dude for as long as I did? You know? Yeah. Yeah, there's like a bunch of people on social media where like I normally wouldn't have followed them, but like I catch myself like looking at a picture of them and their family and being like, oh, this guy seems cool. I should have hung out with this dude, you know?
Yeah, I can't think of any situations like that.
Like that? No. All right.
Yeah, like I was like
maybe
looking,
we have totally different interactions with social media. Then
I was like looking at my like the group that they created for like my high school reunion, and
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's see who fucking went to this shit. And like and also they made it like because of COVID, they made it like the two classes together,
yeah.
right? So I
Oh,
was
right, because they missed a year. Yeah. Well, they missed a year for
yeah,
COVID.
I
yeah.
didn't hear what you said.
Yeah,
I was trying
sorry.
to piece it together.
You just stared at me like I was crazy.
Yeah, I was trying to replay what my brain had just heard.
Yeah.
So really that just led me to be like, oh, like I wish that I went to this because like all of the kids that bullied me are probably there as adults and we can fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this would be fucking
You just show up and
great.
you're like, get ready to get your
like,
ass
I wouldn't
whooped.
even like I would just figure it out. So that was my main thing of like of scrolling through all these pictures, like
Yeah.
who's there that I can fucking plot on. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And yeah, it just led me to realize that everybody that went to that was like fucking tool bags that I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
fucking hang out with anyway. So
I'm not have I told you the story about my high school reunion?
No, I don't think
I'm
so.
not allowed back anymore.
What?
Oh yeah. So
Bless me with the story, bro.
Oh,
I
man.
love stories about
This
being told to never come back.
yeah, this is a good one. So I went to boarding school.
Yeah.
So like I went to school with like a bunch of just rich fucks, just like I mean I shouldn't say rich fucks. I liked some of the people I went to school with. I did not like a vast majority of the people I went to school with. And then also they were all privileged assholes and the teachers, it's very much like if you have money, there's a separate set of rules for you. And if you don't have money, there's a separate set of rules for you,
Yeah.
So like I always had to like, exist in a world where I was like scholarship financial aid kid. So like I wasn't able to do the things that the people who could get away with anything could.
You had to tone it down.
There's resentment.
Reel it back.
All throughout my high school career, just resentment. And then even after the fact, resentment. And then also my sister who went to school too, it's like a dicey thing. I was in a bad head place, basically, though, when my 5-year reunion came up. I was drinking way too much. I was kind of just a maniac, and I was just not happy with the direction of my life. I was a fucking bartender. Meanwhile, like, I'm fucking watching, like, the people at, like, this fucking event being like, well, I spent 6 months in Egypt, and it really just changed the way I thought about everything. It's like, I fucking hate you. And literally, I'm in a suit that I had picked up from like Salvation Army like an hour beforehand. It like smelled like mothballs and like you could tell an old guy died in it, because I was just like, I went there because I was like, I'm going to pollute myself and I'm going to ruin this fucking event for everybody. Right. So that's like literally what I did. So because really the only reason I went in the first place was because
like, I've done your dream ride.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Like,
well, so I fucking the only reason I fucking went in the first place is because a buddy of mine, it's a boarding school, so people from all over the country like went to this school. But like a kid I was like really good friends with who lives in Florida was like, I'm coming up for it. Go to it, dude, just so we can hang out. And I was like, all right, but just so you know, like this is my plan. Like my intention is to fucking make a mockery of this event. So I get there and I'm just like quadruple fisting doors and sodas, just like boom, 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 boom. There's like a bottle of champagne. I'm fucking drinking it right out of the bottle and shit. And it's like supposed to be like a structured alumni event, where it's like, there's tables set up outside, the umbrellas and shit, and people are all like dressed like they're playing like a fucking croquet match, and everyone's like, oh, what did you do after college? What stocks are you investing in? It's like, well, I got a job with my dad doing this. It's like, fuck you people. So I'm just sitting there just getting fucking angry bombed. And, they fucking serve dinner. And again, like I'm just like a disheveled mess, just drinking and just, and then, but it's the kind of thing where because it's from all over the fucking country, people are coming, they open up the dorms for the alumni to like sleep in for the night if they want to, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
So of course I'm going to do that too. So then I'm like, now I'm at the after party, and now at this point we're in almost blackout. I'm pretty much blacked out at this point, but like now I'm just getting visions, like, the way like, your brain just like clicks on for a second then clicks off.
Yeah.
So I think the last clear memory I have is I'm at dinner drinking, and I don't even remember actually eating dinner. I think I am just drinking at this point. I must have had like probably 19 doors and sodas over the course of this day. So now the next thing I remember, I'm at like in a dorm room, and I'm carrying a bottle of champagne through the halls. But then the next thing I remember after that is I'm like outside and I'm doing a keg stand. I think I like wandered into like a neighborhood party that was like around the fucking thing and not even like a campus event at that point. So I'm doing a keg stand, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Next memory I have is I'm basically like roused awake in the middle of like one of the baseball fields, like by a maintenance guy who's like, dude, are you okay out here? And all I know is like now I feel like blood crusted all down my face and all across my shirt. I have like an open wound on my fucking head. And I'm like, oh, whatever. So then the next memory I have is I'm outside of a dorm, and they must have locked the doors at a certain hour to be like, well, of course there are any maniac drunks wandering around at 3 a.m. who still want to get into this fucking place, right? Wrong. I'm there. So I'm literally busting out a window with my elbow, and like now I'm reaching in to like try and pop the door open, to which like I can't even come close to doing it, and I'm just shit-faced. And then, like, a dorm parent opens up the door, a guy that, like, I know this dude from, like, him being a teacher when I was there, obviously only, like, 5 years earlier. And I just see, like, this look of just utter disappointment in me, where he's just like, hi, Brennan, you trying to get in? He's like, let's get you to a room, you know? So at that point, I wake up the next morning, dude, and, like, I'm sleeping in, like, an unmade bed. Because, you know, they have, like, the sheets on the seat next to it. Nothing. It's just like a plastic mattress that I've just, like, sprawled out on. And I have blood all over this room. It's like everywhere. Dude, it's like on the walls, there's handprints, there's fucking blood all over this mattress, there's blood on the sheets. You can tell like there was like a half-ass attempt for me to like grab the sheets and like try to throw them across, but I never even did that, so it just ended up on the floor. Like I am just fucking you know, and now I have to like walk out of this dorm room, and like, you know, everyone is just like watching
Did you hear
me
about Brennan?
yeah, well, they're just like watching me file out. They're just like, nah, you know, of course I'm just a dickhead, and I'm like, see you at the 10-year. That's the story, but I've never been invited back
So
since.
you get like a letter? Like
No,
later
well,
on that.
well, that's just it. It's an alumni event, so I get, you know, used to get shit all the time in the mail being like, oh, donate, or this event's going on. This after that, nothing. I don't get shit from that school ever again. And I was the fucking president of the school, and I don't get anything in the
That's
mail.
fucking
Like they're
funny.
just like they've excommunicated me at this point. But that's part of the reason I don't drink anymore, because that was my
That was your awakening.
yeah.
That's funny. I kind of have a that's like how my tenure ended with the Patriots too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is what would happen a lot. You'd have like a buddy like, yo, I want to go to this game. I'm a Jets fan. You know what I mean? Can we go to this game together? It's like, fine, that's your game. We'll go.
Yeah.
24 hours before the game, I can't go. You know what I mean? I don't have the money. Whatever it is.
So you just get stuck going to this game without this dude who wanted to go to the game in the first place?
Yes.
Yeah.
So a Patriots phrase I would always say is the best ability is availability.
Yeah.
And you know who's always available?
My boy, Matt
My
Murphy.
boy Matt Murphy.
Yeah.
Right. So, and we were problems together. So we get to this game. We would always get there whenever I would call him. Like the timing would be right.
Yeah.
So we'd actually have like a good pregame. You know what I mean? We'd be lubed up by the time you get there. This is the time in my life I'm into double IPAs, not really understanding that you shouldn't
10% alcohol, shouldn't be drinking
not
like
10, but you know,
8.5.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not understanding you shouldn't be having a 6-pack of these before. Like I want to say it was like you know, I had like some Ruination, I had some Boom Sauce,
Oh, yeah.
I had some some kind of Dogfish 90 or something. I don't whatever the case may be. So I'm fucked up already. I'm not blacked out, but I'm fucked up. I get in, we get into the seats, and I'm cheering. This is a game where it's like if you're a gambler, it's a notorious game because if you had started like the entire Patriots offense on DraftKings, you would have killed it.
Yeah.
Because like everybody scored a touchdown. Like it was Patriots versus Bears, and we just demolished them. And this is sometime in the run. Well, this would be the year that we beat the Falcons in the Super Bowl. So Patriots versus Bears, whatever year that is, 16, I think.
Okay.
Or 13, is it that long ago? I think it's 13. So I get in, something good happens. I'm like, ah! And the guy standing next to me is fucking just being like a butthurt. He's like, I didn't spend all this money on these seats to have you fucking being this loud. And that just set me. I go, you're the worst fucking fan I've ever met in my life. And that's one thing that used to piss me off because you're sitting in money.
Yeah, and you got to be on your best behavior.
No,
Yeah.
but I never would be. I would like.
Well, right, but everyone else is. Yeah.
For the most part, everybody in my general area was like a real fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? mean? Like pounding on the seats when you needed to, making the noise when you needed to, like participating, you know? So this guy, first thing, being all stuck up. So like every time the Patriots do anything, I'm like making sure, like my voice is going over here.
Now you're just being a dick about it.
Yes, I'm being an asshole about it, but not as bad as I should have been. But this guy, he was a more seasoned professional at this point. All he did was just say, hey, there's a he called security on me. There's a rowdy fan. They observed me being a maniac, and they fucking
hauled your ass out.
Tried to pull me out of the stadium. But I did everything I could to be like, there's no fucking reason for this, da-da-da-da. And, like, I remember Murphy telling me later, he goes, Ryan, I wish I took a picture of this. He goes, there's one point in the stadium where I'm looking at you, and there's, like, 50 guys in like orange vests, like just attempting to
wrangle you,
to herd you out of the area. He's like, it's one of the best things I've ever seen.
Wow.
And
so was that the last time you'd gone to the stadium?
No.
Okay, that was just the last time you had that hookup for that.
See, what happened was like they basically like that triggered a, what would you call this, a accounting process or whatever to be like, okay, now we got to send a letter that somebody that was in these seats was like removed from the stadium. But I don't think I gave him the tickets. Like I didn't do anything. You know
they probably could check you on video or something as, oh, they're
something like that.
They're in 22A. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So yes. Well, no, because they knew what. Obviously, the stadium staff knows what seats are what. You know what I mean? So we're out. I don't think we handed them the tickets, or they threatened to like and I'm fucked up too, so it's kind of hazy. Maybe they threatened to like arrest us or trespass us if we didn't give them the tickets, and that led to me giving them the tickets or whatnot. Yeah. So I don't know. Either way, the letter gets sent maybe like a few weeks later. So I still go to like a few games, being like, wow, I can't believe
I got away with that.
Everything's fine. Yeah, you know. So then finally the guy hits me up. R.I.P. Paulie. He passed away a few years back. But he goes, yo, did you get thrown out of the stadium? And I go, an
event may have occurred.
But he sent me like a picture of the letter that he got too. So it gave me a minute to digest it and like come up with like a story and be like, nah, dude, like they were breaking my balls about vaping, you know what I mean? Something, and they just threw me out about that. Like what, you know, it wasn't as serious or anything like that. And he goes, oh, all right, it doesn't matter. He's like, you know, blah, blah, blah. He was obviously upset about it. You know what I mean? And I think it was towards the end of the season anyway. And, you know, I don't know. I think he just left it at that because we had already made the transaction and shit. And he was like, if anything else happens, it's going to be a serious kind of thing, you know.
You're going to be out at that point.
Then, like, the next year, like,
you kind of just never re-upped you.
Yeah. That's how it ended, But, I mean,
rightfully so. Not to be a dick to you, but, like,
nah, bro.
If I had season tickets, like, and somebody, like, got removed, whatever the reason, I would kind of just be like, I mean, you're out. You know, you have to be out. You know?
Like, let's put it into perspective, man. Like, I was not a good person.
I mean,
during this time of my life.
Exactly. So. You enjoyed the ride while you had it, and it's over. You know? It's like, it's time to get off.
I fucking rode that thing. Yeah. I fucking basically I treated that thing like my truck. I just fucking drove it into the fucking ground until I couldn't drive it anymore.
Hey, you know what though? You got every bit of enjoyment out of it.
I did.
All right. I think I'm gonna have to call it there. So I got some shit I got to get done.
Word.
Yeah.
Great talk.
Yeah, I think we had a great one today.
Episode 17. Like, share, subscribe. Come check us. Right. How many subscribers we got now? We cracked 100 yet?
I have no idea. I have to look.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
Later, guys.